Whatever feels natural.
I don't,
like, not.
The signups are so hard. I already said all my things. Okay. Hi, I'm Slagle. I create recipes and I'm a soon-to-be cookbook author. I am making one-pot broccoli mac and cheese. One-pot pastas, I think, are very smart. Everything goes in the pot at once, so everything really has time to connect and become friends. The flip side is that the pasta gives off starch as it cooks, so the liquid around it thickens naturally into like this luscious thing. This probably isn't like the most exciting thing about it, but it has a lot of broccoli in it, which is what is exciting to me about it. I'm also fun to hang out with, I promise. There are a lot of like visual cues that you want to look out for, which is why I'm happy that we're making it here today. The pot tells you when it needs something, you just have to know what to look for. We're gonna have a broccoli anatomy class. This is the stem of the broccoli. I really wish people called this like a tree, like a trunk, branches, florets. I just feel like it would be more clear to explain things. But usually in a recipe, this is called the stem. So cut the trunk off of the branches, and then you'll just chop this up into little squares. If you've never eaten broccoli stem, I would really suggest it. I like it raw in salads, recipe coming soon to New York Times Cooking, but it's also really good braised, boiled, etc. And then with this whole thing, I kind of just go for it. If you have any big pieces that won't fit on a spoon, just go back over it. There are, you know, some Italians that will say one-pot pasta is like not okay. I think that probably the most famous one-pot pasta is the one from Martha Stewart, and that food editor saw the technique in Italy. So I say go for it. But also, if you think it's delicious, go for it, no matter what anyone says. Okay, wow, this is a lot of broccoli. Need to like clean the environment. So this all goes in the pot. Besides grating some cheese, this is all you have to do for prep. So the first part of this recipe might look a little funny. You are putting in a pot broccoli, milk, salt, a little garlic powder just for some spunk, 3 cups of water, and then a whole box of pasta. This recipe also uses a whole block of cheese, a whole box of pasta. Nothing like hanging around the pantry. If the pot you're using means that the pasta is rising above the water, that is totally fine. The broccoli will give off some liquid, and eventually your pasta will be submerged. Doesn't look like mac and cheese, but it will. This is gonna come to a simmer, and then we'll tend to it. Because there's so few ingredients here, the flavor of the sauce is really dependent on the flavor of your cheese. So you want something sharp, spicy, like a mild cheese, just I think will make kind of a bland sauce. Okay, cheese, done. Frequent stirring helps the starch come out of the pasta. It's a similar idea to risotto where like you're supposed to stir it a lot to kind of like break the starch out of the rice. Okay, so we have some bubbles starting, very exciting. So I don't know if you can tell, but like it looks like there's more liquid, and that's because the broccoli is giving off some of its moisture. I have been traveling in a van for 6 months, and the way that I cook out of the van really changed based on what I realized was like difficult and easy, and draining things is just like not something that I felt I wanted to do at a campsite. So I made a lot of these kinds of pastas where I could just like put everything in, like there was no waste, no water to like figure out what to do with. It was very convenient. So at this point, the noodles are getting bigger. The thickening of the liquid is important, but I think more when your pasta's cooked. That's when you know to add the cheese. If you find that your pasta's not ready yet and there's no liquid kind of in between the noodles, you can just add more water. The liquid is starting to hide a little bit, so I'm gonna add a little more. Where does the liquid go? It's evaporating for sure, but it's also going into that pasta. Okay, I feel good. So off the heat, lots of cheese. That's it. That's all you had to do, right? Basically, not any harder than opening a box. Yeah, and you see in here, like, this is delicious, right? Now we get to eat mac and cheese for breakfast. It's like so soft, but then the broccoli is like just a slight bit of texture, like not too much, don't have to chew too much. But the sauce is creamy, cheesy. I think it hits all the mac and cheese cravings. Thank you for watching, and I hope when you desperately need some mac and cheese very quickly that you look up the one pot broccoli mac and cheese. Yeah, to me, this moment is like spoon, bowl, soft things. If I wanted like the crunch and all that, I'd make like a baked mac and cheese. You know, it's just a different moment. One is not better than the other one.